I got a 2014 Silverado. I made me some notches. Everybody thinks it's hard to make some notches. It's 1/4-inch plate. I mean, if you can use a cutting wheel, a torch, and there's a shop near you that has some 1/4-inch plate, you can make these. What you're looking for is your width on the bottom, and that's just to clear the axle. And then I still have my purchase here for the original where the leaf springs sit, but you're gonna get your width here and how big you want to make it. I mean, fuck, you can make that thing all the way back here, it don't really matter. But then you want your height. Now this is going to be an underbed notch. What that means is it goes under the bed without having to cut the bed. That gives me everything I need, just to, I can even lower it more. Right now I'm at 7 inches. I could lower another 2, maybe 3 and get away. But it is not hard to do, it's not hard to make. Now, when putting these on, when the axle comes up, it swings towards the cab. So you're gonna want your C-notch, and if you still have a original bump stop mount, you really want it all the way touching the back there, because it's gonna swing up and it's gonna be right here if it fully collapses. I mean, if you're really doing some shit. So just move it all the way forward, and then what I did, you can see the frame's still dirty. Set it on here, got it where I wanted it. I marked it. I'm gonna take this back off. I'm gonna grind everything off to where I got good clean metal. Just prep work is really where it's at. If you can't weld or whatever, and you got somebody that can weld, and I'm not talking about the dude that spits bubble gum all over the fucking steel. I'm talking about somebody that can actually weld. This is not hard. I'm gonna take, after I get done prepping, I'm gonna weld this back side. I'm gonna weld the front side. And then I'm gonna take a sawzall and cut up through there, get that out of the way. And then I got some plates already pre-made. But that is all it is right there. Ain't much to it. I mean, I could honestly say that took me 10 bucks. It literally took me 10 bucks to make. It's not hard to do. If you got any questions on how I did it, or my prep of welding everything together, let me know. I think I used 035 hard wire, 75-25 gas. I mean, honestly there's not much to it. But you come over here to the driver's side, the gas tank's over here. I don't want anybody to blow themselves up, nothing stupid. There is shit to move, and there's stuff to be cautious of. As I hit it with my cigarette, there is stuff to be cautious of. So really being safe and getting it done right, that's what this video is all about. I want everybody to be safe trying to do stuff like this. No bubblegum welds, no bullshit, good penetration, everything your woman wants on this. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back off now that I got it marked, so I know where to grind, because I ain't grinding the whole fucking frame. I'm gonna pull this off, I'm gonna prep it, and then I'm gonna put you back on, show how I prepped it, and then I'm gonna weld it, maybe do a little bit of video on that, and then go from there. And after I get that done, I'm gonna cut this out, if I got enough time. If I don't, then I'm gonna put another video on here. But yeah, this stuff is not hard to do, guys. It is not hard to do whatsoever, as long as you can weld. I can't stress that enough. You don't want bullshit welds the middle of your frame where your leaf springs are going to be pushing up and your truck's going to be pushing down on it. It'll split. It's dangerous. But if you got any questions, or hell, you might want something like this made, and you're kind of around the Fort Smith area, something like that, Fort Smith, Arkansas, or Roland, Oklahoma, or somewhere around there, or even 100 miles away, let me know. I can build something like this for you, or I can have you come over and I can install it for you. But that'll be whenever I talk to you. All right, so once you got everything prepped, everything ground down clean, get some clamps up there, get it positioned back where you had it. Like I said, mine's running a little forward, so when the axle comes up, it goes towards the cab. So I'm gonna do the same thing on both sides. Haven't even prepped that one yet. I just figured one at a time. But this is how it's gonna go. This is how it's gonna look. This is where it's gonna be at. You can also, on these plates, you can take a square and go straight down with a square on it and find center of the axle. But you also want to move it a little forward. So whichever way works for you. Put some clamps on here to get the back side clamped all the way down. I'm gonna throw some welds on it and then I'll put you back on here. Kind of hard to do upside down. And it's plenty hot enough. It's penetrating pretty good. Now that I got that all welded, I'm going to continue to cut the notch out underneath and go from there. I'll cut that out and then I'll get in there and clean up where the cut and the cut is, so I can weld this together. And then I'm actually going to set my other plates on top because they come way out here, so I'll be able to weld this ledge. But I want to weld the frame in here. I want to weld the frame in here to the plate itself, even if I got to get in there and just right there on that spot. Then I can set my other plates on there and then weld all the way around. I made them long enough to come out almost a 1/4 inch, so I'd have a good ledge to weld to. That's what it looks like when it's done. I did some undercoat paint on it, still kind of wet, but I welded underneath, which hell, I can't even get under there to see it. It's welded underneath, it's welded all the way around. That's what it looks like. There's not much to it. I mean, as long as you can weld, use a sawzall. What I did was I took a sawzall up both sides, and then I took my cutting blade right in the dead center on both sides, and I did a cutting blade both back and forth just so I wasn't spraying sparks everywhere. I'm gonna do the same thing with the other side. There's more stuff on there. Like I said, there's gas tanks over there. You want to be safe. I got a weld blanket, and that's just because I had it handy. It was here in the shop. But if you don't have something like that, take some old bullshit towels, wet them down. You know, they ain't got to be just soaking, dripping wet, but just have it to where they're damp. Cover up anything that you're scared that's going to happen, you know. Same thing with your back window. The sparks, if it hits the back window, it doesn't matter if it's a grinder or whatever, it hits that, it will make marks. So I was more cautious as I was grinding or doing whatever. I know what I'm doing. I didn't cover it up, but if you're wanting to, just to be on the safe side, just cover it up. So when I do this side over here, if I have time, I'm kind of pressed, but if you got your original bump stop still there, go ahead and slide your underbed notch all the way up to it, because the same thing I did on that side. That really keeps you from measuring if you don't know how to measure anything or whatever. Go ahead and undo all your stuff. I still got to undo that, slide it out of the way, and then what I'm going to do is grab that well blanket. I'm going to kind of wrap everything up around it so I know for a fact everything's out of the way. I don't want to mess my truck up. And at the same time, if you know somebody that can weld, if you can't do it yourself and you know somebody that can weld, let them do it. You know what I mean? If you got to pay $50 for some dude to come over and weld, as long as it's straight, no bubblegum bullshit, then it's good. But if your frame falls off, especially on a newer truck, full coverage, your frame falls off, they ain't paying for that shit. Insurance won't do nothing with you once they see something like that. So just take precautions. You got a gas tank, you got a frame, and there's suspension involved. Really be safe doing it. If you got any questions, more, anything, just give me a shout. If you're looking for something like that and it can be fully welded out to you, let me know. If you're looking to have it installed, and like I said, if you're around the Fort Smith, Arkansas area, Roland area, Salisal, Oklahoma area, let me know. We can work something out. But I'm gonna get this prepped over here, get everything moved, get my notch on, get it marked like I did the first time, and then I'll weld it out, and I'll put you back on when I go to cut it out, just so you can see how I'm cutting it out. It ain't gotta be just extremely perfect, but I'll show you what's going on there. I got the other side done. I really wanted to put how I cut it and what I did, but once I got in the mode, I just did it. If you're working on a 14 or more, I'm not entirely sure where this brake clamp is, or this holder is for the brake, but I think it's the same all the way, let's say 08. If it is, this still works. Get there, but you can see there's one and there's two mounts that cannot clip anymore. Everything else clips just fine, and that's kind of it. Fully welded, there ain't nothing to it. Didn't blow up, so yeah, give me a holler. Or like I said, if you want to buy one of these, it's 2014, but the notches work for a 02 all the way to 18, and they work. A little bit of a gap the bigger years you get, but if you got a good clamp, I use a Betsy clamp, which is one of them things. You get a bigger clamp, then you can get rid of the gap, squeeze it to it, and they could be sent to you fully welded out or in pieces. Just give me a comment, let me know. Next, I'm going to work on shock extenders and try to see how that goes. But that's the end of this video. Once I get the bed back on, which ain't gonna be today, it damn sure ain't gonna be today. It's nighttime. I gotta go to work 5 o'clock in the morning, so sometime this week when I get the bed back on, I'll show you what to do on cutting the bed, and I might string it along in these videos, or I might just post this one and then put that one next. I got the truck back together. I know I was supposed to put on there how I cut the rib out of the bed, but all you gotta do is flip your bed up on end from the tailgate up. You can get to all that. My phone was dead when I was doing it, but the notch fits good. Let's see if I can get in here. The notch fits good. I got almost an 1/8 inch before the notch actually hits, but on my frame rail, or my frame rail to my bed channel there, I'm sitting all the way down. Everything's bolted back up. Everything's done. Need to go wash it. Tail lights back in. So everything's good. So now I won't be having any issues with the axle hitting. I thought when I first lowered this truck, nobody recommends an underbed notch. Nobody recommends a notch at all. The roads here in Oklahoma, they suck. Plus I'm on 26s, so it sucks even more. But I had to do the underbed notch. There's 5 spots on the way to work, way home, that I try to miss because I know for a fact it hits the frame. So for the people telling you that, if you're doing a flip kit, that is not accurate. You will hit the frame regardless. So you can put a bump stop in there, but you're still going to hit the frame. So my next venture is going to be making some shock extenders. I know my driver's side needs to be longer than my passenger side, but I'm going to try to make my own, see how that goes. And then after that, I got to repaint the whole front end. You watched any of the other videos of the color match, I did the clear coat wrong, 100% wrong, my fault, and it's peeling everywhere. The color matches perfectly for the white, but I got to redo it. I tried this VHS spray on the headlights. It looked 100% good when I did it. Now it's kind of, I don't know what's up with it. I did the same thing on the tail lights. I just did one coat, just sprayed it, and it come out clean, really clean. And this stuff right here. The only reason I did that because I had planned to buy new LED headlights or projection headlights and then LED tail lights, but I was thinking, well, might as well just check it out. But the tail lights look great. The headlights look great other than that one spot. It's like it's fading through or drying out. I mean, right there. For some weird reason, I cleaned all of them exactly the same. Did everything. They're dirty right now, but looks pretty good. And then at nighttime, yes, it does. If you have stock headlights, it does make them a little bit darker. I mean, it really does. And depending on how many coats you're doing, like I did 1 on the back, but I did 2 on the front, and it did make them darker. So I'm gonna end up trashing the headlights and the tail lights. Or not trashing, I'll probably sell them to somebody for 20 bucks or some shit, and then start from there.